Paul Eshelman gives this big challenge to us all and gives a date. On a certain day we're going to go down to Los Angeles Harbor and we're all going to climb on boats and we're going to go reach the world for Christ. And I'm thinking, fantastic, I'm going with Paul. Well, you know, the date came and went and we didn't do it. So finally I just decided to toss up my hands, and I dedicated the United States to all of you guys, and I left and I got assigned to Micronesia. Well, the thing that I learned my first 4 years was that out there was the tremendous opportunities that there was in Guam and the other islands. In other words, there was enough work for about 100 people, and there were just me and Diane. So I flew to Daytona on the invitation of somebody and spoke and invited kids to stop out for Christ. And it's very interesting, over the next 4 years we had 156 people, and we got into everything. We were helping at the university, we were helping churches, we were doing door-to-door evangelism in all the cities. And they wrote back to their friends. I said, write back to your friends, invite them all to come with us to the Philippines, and ask them to raise money for you, because you can't go home and raise it, and we'll all meet in Manila on such and such a day. And we did. The Lord did. We met in the Philippines. What did we have? 265 students came, and we showed we had 50 film teams, as I remember. And we showed the film practically every night of the week for 2 months, and we were averaging 1,000 people per showing, and that's 50,000 people a night were seeing the Jesus film. When we would come to the villagers kind of came to see the Americans, and we were coming to show Jesus, and the church people were getting excited and getting involved, because that's what we were there to do, and they were helping us, and the whole thing kind of started to get some inertia and momentum. And so the main thing that happened to me in Micronesia, and the fact that these people had put in 220 years of what I consider what I could have done, I couldn't have done what they did in a lifetime. So I learned several major lessons in Micronesia. One, mobilizing, organizing university students, helping people to organize a vacation with a purpose. The fact that there was a lot of energy there. I remember saying to this pastor, another pastor, he says, Warren, he said, you know, you're twice as good as these kids, and he said, you're wasting time on these kids. And I said, how am I wasting time on these kids? Let's suppose that all these kids, these 220 years worth of stuff, they were only worth half of what I'm worth. So it's not really 220 years worth of mission work, it's actually only 110 years worth of mission work. I said, you realize that the Lord has allowed me to accomplish 110 years worth of mission work in the last 4 years, even if we only count them as half-mast. And I said, these kids are becoming not only real men, but they're becoming men of God. So I learned many life lessons, I learned many ministry lessons, and I learned in Micronesia the value of working through other people to get the job done. I never really could understand the missionaries who didn't like short-term mission, people because they were a waste of time. They got in the way. They took my time away from, what I'm called here to do. But for me, I saw them as subcontractors and delegated part of my job to them and just coordinated the whole thing. And the Stop Out for Christ project germinated the present stint movement, where we have short-term international projects overseas. And from what I understand, it's still a very effective program and is really a pleasure to have had a small part in seeing that happen.